Ever feel like life's just like throwing these curveballs one after another? Like, seriously, is the universe messing with me?
I like that. Is the universe messing with me?
Right. So today we're taking a deep dive into that whole idea of the universe testing us.
Okay.
Now, before anyone thinks we've gone like full-on mystical here, we're basing this on a YouTube video. It's called 8 Signs You've Finally Passed the Universe's Test. It's from this channel, Shielded Mind.
I've seen it.
Yeah, they're big into, personal growth, spirituality, all that. But even if that's like not your thing,
Yeah.
stay tuned.
Yeah.
This deep dive is really about those moments we all have, where we kind of level up in life, not like cosmic judgment or anything.
I think you framed it perfectly because the video, it really is fascinating how it takes challenges and says, wait, what if these aren't roadblocks? What if they're actually like custom designed for us to grow?
So it's more like less cosmic exam, more like
Yeah.
personalized training montage.
Exactly.
I like the sound of that way better. But, okay, if we're not being graded, what does passing even mean in this whole context?
That's where these 8 signs they talk about come in. Think of them like mile markers on your journey, of figuring yourself out. And it's not about like reaching perfection. It's more about recognizing, hey, I've come a long way and seeing the tools you've picked up along the way.
Okay, so like, what's the first sign? What's the first mile marker we hit?
The first one is all about finding peace amidst chaos.
Oh, easier said than done, right?
Tell me about it.
Hmm.
But the video uses this really vivid image. Imagine a storm raging all around you. But instead of being swept away, you're rooted like a tree. You weather it.
Wow, I can picture that. It's like everything's crazy around you, but you feel this center, this calm in the middle of it. Almost like when you've got that work deadline, everything's going wrong, but you find this focus. Have you ever felt that?
100%. And it's not about pretending the storm isn't there, right? It's about building that inner strength to handle it.
So not ignorance, but like inner peace.
Inner strength, yeah. Like think about mindfulness, even taking a few deep breaths. That can totally shift your perspective, Helps you tap into that calm.
It's about like taking control of what's going on inside, even when outside feels nuts. Okay, so how does staying calm in chaos connect to their next sign? Because they talk about embracing authenticity, right?
They're really deeply connected, those two. See, a lot of times the chaos we feel, it comes from trying to live up to other people's expectations, playing a role that's not really us. So the second sign, it's about shedding those layers.
Letting go of the act.
Yeah, those old stories we tell ourselves that aren't doing us any favors anymore.
It's like you've been wearing this mask, right? And finally you take it off, even if it means some people won't recognize you at first. But how do we do that? How do we even know what those old stories are? Stuff that's holding us back.
It starts with looking inward. Are there areas of your life where you just like dread it, resent it, or you feel like you're constantly forcing things?
Oh, yeah. Those are red flags, huh?
Big time. Those are often clues that what you're doing and what you actually value are out of alignment.
So friction means it's time to investigate. Figure out why there's friction in the first place. And what's crazy is even that process, questioning things, challenging your old ways, the video almost makes it sound like that's a test in itself.
You got it. It can be seriously uncomfortable to let go of familiar stories, even if they're not doing us any good anymore.
We cling to what we know.
We do. But that discomfort, it's often a sign of growth, pushing past your comfort zone, which, funny enough, leads perfectly into the third sign, being passionate about change.
Hold on. So instead of resisting change, we should be excited about it.
Why not?
That's kind of radical, right? Especially in a world that's always telling us to play it safe, stick with what you know.
But what if we flip the script? What if, instead of a threat, change became this huge opportunity to grow, to expand, to find these new parts of yourself you never even knew were there? Think about a time you got out of your comfort zone. It might have been scary at first, but...
But it probably led to something good.
Right. Something you wouldn't trade.
It's funny you say that, because starting this podcast, that was me stepping way out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
I was terrified, but it's been one of the best things I've ever done.
There you go.
So this passion for change, it's about leaning into those moments that make you nervous, trusting that they could lead to something amazing.
Exactly. And it's not about loving every second of the process, right? It's bigger than that. It's about recognizing that even the tough experiences, they can help us grow in ways we never saw coming.
So we've got finding peace in chaos, embracing our true selves, and now actually getting excited about change. What other cosmic obstacles do we have to tackle?
Okay, so buckle up, because the next 3 signs, they're all about letting go of control.
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Right. Trusting the process. Which, let's be real, it's not easy for us humans, is it? We like to be in charge.
Oh, tell me about it. I'm like the queen of planning. I have backup plans for my backup plans. But I can see how, I don't know, clinging too tightly, that creates its own kind of chaos, doesn't it?
For sure. So the video, it dives into this whole thing about synchronicities.
Okay, those like weird coincidences that feel like they mean something,
Exactly.
like seeing repeating numbers everywhere or running into the same person twice in a row. It does make you wonder, right? I gotta admit, though, the repeating numbers thing, always a little skeptical. But I do love a good synchronicity story.
Who doesn't?
Have you ever had one of those moments where it felt like, I don't know, the universe was trying to tell you something?
Maybe. Maybe. While I might not take repeating numbers as like a direct message from the cosmos,
Right.
I do think these little synchronicities, they make us pay attention,
Yeah.
to the patterns in our lives. What if, instead of just being like, oh, that's weird, we got curious, like, what if it is a nudge to try something new or to trust that gut feeling?
Instead of a secret code, it's more like being open to the possibility that there's something bigger going on.
Yeah.
And maybe that openness, that willingness to say, okay, universe, what you got, maybe that's part of this whole test thing.
100%. And that leads us to the next sign, which is all about emotional mastery.
Okay, not gonna lie, that sounds a little intimidating.
Right. Like we're trying to be emotionless robots or something.
Yeah.
But it's not that at all. It's more about like really understanding your own emotions, how they work, how they affect your thoughts, your actions.
So not suppressing how you feel, but like learning to handle it in a healthy way. Because we've all been there, right?
Yeah.
Where something happens and you're this close to totally losing it. But imagine if you could just hit pause. Observe those feelings without letting them control you. That's next level right there.
Totally. And being able to regulate your emotions is huge, not just for dealing with your own inner world, but also for showing up as your best self with other people.
When you put it like that, it makes total sense. If you're always reacting from a place of like stress, overwhelm, that's going to affect everything. But if you can come from a place of, I don't know, being grounded, clarity, that changes the game. So how does the video say we develop this whole emotional intelligence thing?
It goes back to what we were saying before about self-awareness, paying attention to what sets you off, understanding your own patterns, and finding healthy ways to cope. Plus, you gotta have self-compassion too. We're all works in progress. It's okay to mess up sometimes.
It's true. Nobody's perfect, and that's okay. What matters is that we keep learning, keep growing, right?
Sure.
Okay, so we've got trust, synchronicities, and now emotional mastery. I'm sensing a theme here, and it's all about letting go, surrendering to something bigger than ourselves.
You got it. And that takes us to a really cool shift in perspective with the next sign, which is embracing gratitude and abundance.
Okay, so instead of focusing on what we don't have, we appreciate what we do. I can see how that would be huge.
It's about moving from that scarcity mindset, that I don't have enough, to a place of abundance,
Yeah.
believing there's enough to go around. And the video says, when we tap into that feeling of gratitude, when we see how much we already have, it opens us up to receive even more.
Oh, it's like that saying, where attention goes, energy flows.
Mm-hmm.
If you're always looking at what's missing, you're going to attract more lack. But focus on the good stuff, and that's when the magic happens.
Exactly. And it's not just about like money or possessions, this abundance. It's about feeling fulfilled in all areas of your life, your relationships, your passions, your purpose. It's realizing you already have everything you need inside you to be happy and live a meaningful life.
That's a really beautiful way to put it. It's about that inner abundance. And we all have that, no matter what's going on around us. So if we're feeling this abundance, this gratitude for what we have, what's the final sign we're acing this cosmic test? What's the finish line look like?
It's funny you should say that, because if we're talking about abundance as this like overflowing feeling, not just stuff, but gratitude, purpose, it makes you think about what you do with all that.
Right. It's not meant to be hoarded. And that's actually the final sign the video talks about. It's this urge to serve others,
Okay.
to give back from that place of overflow. It's like this natural progression. When you experience real abundance, you want to share it.
Yeah, it's not out of obligation or anything. It's like this generosity that can't be contained. And it reminds me, like, when you help someone out, even in a small way, it kind of energizes you too, doesn't it?
It does.
It's like this little reminder that, hey, we're all connected and what we do matters.
Mhm.
It's a beautiful thing. And the video even says we all have these unique gifts to offer, right? It's not about comparing or trying to be someone else. It's about finding your strengths, your passions, and sharing that with the world.
So it's like we each have this little spark of something special. And by sharing it, we're not losing any of our own light. We're just making the whole world a little bit brighter.
Perfectly said. And I think that's a really powerful takeaway from all of this, actually. These 8 signs, they're not about like reaching some cosmic finish line and then you're done. It's more like guideposts on this journey of figuring yourself out, becoming more resilient, more
It's
connected.
about like embracing the tough stuff when it comes, learning from the setbacks,
Yeah.
and using all of that to become, I don't know, the most authentic, most compassionate version of you.
And remembering that you don't have to go it alone. We're all in this together, right?
Right.
Supporting each other, learning from each other, and hopefully making the world a little more loving and abundant while we're at it.
I love that. So as you go about your day today, maybe think about these 8 signs. Where do you see those qualities in yourself already? And maybe even more importantly, where do you feel that little nudge, that invitation to maybe level up a little bit, try something new, or share your own brand of magic with the world?
Because that's the funny thing, isn't it? The more we give, the more we get back. The more we open ourselves up to the universe's abundance, the more we realize we had it in us all along.
And on that note of infinite possibility and overflowing abundance, we're going to wrap up this deep dive. Hopefully it sparked some new insights, maybe even inspired you to embrace those tests as opportunities to grow, to become even more you.
So until next time, keep exploring, keep growing, keep shining your light.